Many years ago, well maybe not that long, in a land not too different to the one you're in now, two best friends fell in love. Not with each other, but with an exotic African lady, Sharon, who made coffee at Kurt's cafe. The two best friends were Terry and Hare, inseparable, orphans, who'd grown up together almost like brothers, to start their own business together. So the day Terry and Hare walked laughing into Kurt's and saw Sharon's head pop up from behind the counter, their laughter stopped. It was like they knew as they stared into Sharon's dark darting eyes, and then into each other's, things would never be the same. And same they weren't. From that day on, the two smitten besties became infatuated worsties, spending whatever time they weren't trying to woo Sharon off her tiny feet, jealously undermining the other. And their business suffered. So 4 months later, when Hare, who was texting, "Shaz, can't make dinner tonight, got a nasty rash," into Terry's mobile phone, took the call from the bank, he leant over the partition and said, "Terry, we've got to talk." Terry looked up from the voodoo doll of Hare he was sewing. "Okay, what's up?" "The bank just called and said if we miss another payment, they'll close us down."
"I see. What do you propose?"
said Terry, sliding the Hare doll pin cushion under a pile of unsigned contracts. "That we sort this business with Sharon out once and for all."
"And how do you propose to do that?"
said Terry, realising he'd just said propose twice, possibly revealing what he was thinking of doing to Sharon. "That we have a race, you versus me, town centre to One Tree Hill and back again. Winner gets Sharon and the loser gets lost."
"A race?"
said Terry, shifting uncomfortably on his seat.
"That's over 10 kilometres, and you're like Bruce Springsteen." "All right, you're on, but only if you give me 3 weeks to train and you accept the result."
"Done," said Hare, grinning toothily and shaking Terry's leathery hand. So for the next 3 weeks the two frenemies went their separate ways. Hare, mainly to Sharon's, while Terry went away to train. And train Terry did, because despite his genetics, with his intellect, suitcase full of money his dead grandfather had left him, and desire to wed Sharon that burned so deep he felt like he might stew in his own shell, he knew he was a chance. So he joined a gym, got himself a personal trainer, ooh la la, and flew to Switzerland to train at altitude for a fortnight. It was tough. But as Terry's mum had always told him, "If you don't get tough, son, you don't get nothing," just before the truck hit her. Then, before the dust of the excitement of the first romantic duel in 85 years had settled on the town's cobbled streets, the day was here. Hare was supremely confident as he strode through the cheering crowd to the start line for the 11 a.m. start. The warm breeze tickled his whiskers. He blew a kiss to Sharon, but she looked away. He then looked for Terry, but he was nowhere to be seen. "Ha ha," thought Hare, "as I expected. I'll win by default." Then with the town hall clock ticking 10:58, a plume of dry ice smoke rose up from in front of O'Doyle's hardware shop, and loud music thumped through the air. Hare took an early lead, his long ears bobbing into the distance, but Terry was surprisingly holding his own as they disappeared over the rise. At the 3-kilometre marker, Hare started to slow. Possibly too many chocolate carrots at Sharon's, he thought. He looked over his shoulder. The distant silhouette of Terry seemed to be growing bigger. As they rounded the old oak on One Tree Hill, the gap had closed to 50 metres. Harry was gasping and seeing spots. Terry's stride had lengthened. With 2 kilometres to go, they were neck and neck. Harry was purple and lathered in sweat. He blurrily glanced at Terry, now beside him, barely puffing. "This isn't right," thought Harry. "I know I'm lazy, but turtles aren't supposed to run like this." And then, with the town square finish line in sight, like a tortoise missile, Terry shot ahead, snapping through the finish tape, to an eruption of hats and cheers, while Harry fell to his knees, wheezing, tears of dehydrated nothingness. And while Terry did end up with Sharon, it wasn't for that long. You see, when he returned positive for EPO blood doping, Sharon left him. But she didn't stick with Harry long either. No, because when she found out he was the one who'd lobbied for the anti-doping investigation into Terry, well, she told him to hop off too. Because of all the things meerkats hate, kids. Because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low.